So he proceeds to explain that my stepbrother is going to be released on probation and put on house arrest, and that they were requesting payment for the ankle monitor. You find peace in the fact that your loved ones are going to be there for you no matter how silly of a mistake you make. How I scammed the scammer and got my $5,000 back.
But they did pretend that they were an IRS agent. But what the comedian did is he pretended to be the police. One of the things that we've always tell you, we definitely believe in trusting your intuition. Trust your intuition.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the Munch Corner podcast. We are your hosts, Savanah, and my wonderful husband, Omar. And have we all been scammed? I don't know.
Yes, but wait a minute. Yes, we have. I think we can definitely say that.
All of us have, yeah.
Now, Savanah is particularly looking beautiful today. She has this casual look, so we can't go past this.
Thank you.
But we have a new little twist. So these are beautiful mugs we enjoy too, more classic looking.
We have hot chocolate today.
But we have hot chocolate today. So
back to a reference of one of our other videos. Hot chocolate does not suck. Here's to hot chocolate.
Here's hot chocolate.
Cheers, everyone. I have cherry.
You have Black Forest, which means she has cherry in her chocolate. And I've got actually an orange one. So,
ooh la la.
And
I love that. Ooh, that's good. Talk about upping the hot chocolate game.
Yes. So this is...
Sorry if I have chocolate on my
we'll
lips.
We'll wipe the little mustache off.
Yeah, just ignore it.
This one is just for the audience in case you're interested. One of our favorite chocolate companies is Hotel Chocolat. They're actually UK based. They do have a US operation as well. And they make amazing chocolate in general. So their hot chocolate part is a wonderful piece of this whole thing.
We could be all having hot chocolate together, but either which way, we're all grabbing our drinks. We are covering being scammed and scamming the scammers.
I love this.
So we are going to cover scammed stories of people that have been scammed, but the very last story is of how someone got the scammer back.
A little bit of justice. This is what we're looking for.
So we're going to end it on a good note. Stick with us and are we ready for the first one?
And do we want to tell a little preview that if you stay long enough with us, you'll hear a personal story.
Yes, you will hear my personal story.
So we know that for those out there, it happens every day. I mean, it's like you can get it through phishing on your computer. You can get it through a text. You can get it through somebody online with some other reason, whatever it might be. And everyone seems to be, you have to have your defenses up.
They're always evolving though as well.
And it's not just electronic, right? I mean, so there's lots of things that happen through traveling and everything else. So I'm really curious to see the stories you picked.
Okay, so
let's go.
House arrest ankle monitor scam.
Okay. That's someone volunteering to put an ankle bracelet on.
All right, so this is under scam reports on our wonderful Reddit. So today my boyfriend's mom almost fell for a phishing attempt by clicking a link in a fake Amazon email that took her to a login page. She luckily didn't enter anything and it was all a close call. I was telling my own mom about it and I mentioned how sometimes I get worried something like that could happen to her or my dad since some of these scams are very sophisticated now.
Well, they are. Yes, they have.
She drops the bomb.
Okay, what is the bomb?
That she and my stepdad were scammed out of $1,000 a few months ago, but they were too ashamed to tell me.
You know, and scammers actually really count on the fact that you're
going to be ashamed.
You can be ashamed and guilty and they realize, you know, they're going to probably get away with it. And that shame is one of their key arsenal items, and never let that be the driver.
Always reach out for help. There's absolutely no shame in learning from mistakes.
And just for everybody to know out there, our incredible law enforcement out there does have a white-collar criminal kind of division that handles things that are specific to this. And it's very important that we all help contribute to get rid of these people.
I agree. They're making too much money. They find the weak link in people. Okay, so a couple months ago, my stepbrother was arrested on a warrant. He was in jail for a few days. My mom received a phone call around this time from someone claiming they were with the county court where the arrest took place, and that my mom was listed as an emergency contact for my stepbrother. She told me the man was very well spoken and sounded legit. So he proceeds to explain that my stepbrother is going to be released on probation and put on house arrest, and that they were requesting payment for the ankle monitor.
Oh my God. Yes, that's
Yeah, I
exactly
can
what.
already ring that this is rubbing me the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? The law enforcement calls you up and says, "I'm about to arrest you, but I need to get some money for your shackles."
You can imagine as a
Or
mom what's running
handcuffs.
through her mind is her son is arrested, not the payment for the ankle
But that's the whole
monitor.
point. It's a shock effect, right? I
course.
mean, and then you're left in that moment where you're supposed to decide that I'm going to, yes, I have to participate in this, and so they've picked up on a lot of different things that unfortunately scammers take the key part. They prey on parents with children, elderly sometimes.
Yeah, they fish and kind of see where they can get.
But what's
get
interesting about
something.
this one so far, and I want to hear the rest of it, is it's a lot of very specific information.
It is.
That comes not generically, which a lot of scams are fairly generic, and they're hoping by virtue of just spreading it out their numbers, they'll get a hit.
So the man said after the $1,000 is paid that he'll send details on when my mom and stepdad can pick up the ankle monitor on a specific date and time at the courthouse.
Yes, because that's exactly what law enforcement does. They really want you
no way
to
to
pick
put
it
that
up.
ankle monitor on and off at your own will.
And I wonder if they would charge them for the monthly monitoring as well, on top of it too.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yes.
So my mom sent the money to this man's PayPal account.
Oh, yes, because that's what the government uses for that.
A couple days go by and they hear nothing back from this man on the details of when to pick up the ankle monitor. They tried to call him back.
Well, of course they did. But I mean, it's almost like you want to look at the account you're sending it to. I'm positive they really didn't look at this very closely because of the shock effect.
The shock.
Because you almost feel like saying, this is the scam me account of PayPal. Send it to this account, which is very unfortunate.
Horrible. So they try to call him back only to find out the phone number had been disconnected, aka her number was blocked. That's when my mom and stepdad realized it was a scam.
It probably wasn't disconnected. What's interesting about phone numbers these days and scammers use, and I've seen it, you have to kind of watch for it, is they can get a Google phone number that's overlaid on top of their phone.
I didn't know that was the thing.
Which means you're really not using your own phone number, you're using a digital phone number that's being created specifically.
It can be traced though, right?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how well they would trace, let's say, a Gmail account, right? I mean, could you open up a Gmail account without necessarily providing any credentials?
I don't know. Anyone who's tech savvy about this, let us know.
So this is where they really can provide these layers. Now, ultimately, the electronic footprint can be found, but you need to be somebody pretty sophisticated in this industry, or the police would be able to do it.
Let's find out what else happened. So I can only assume the scammer just combed through public records. They probably saw the recent arrest record for my stepbrother and then found my mom's information as a potential family member and made the connection and concocted the story.
So for those of you out there, I mean, I think just in general, I would honestly suggest just Google yourself. It's a very strange thing to maybe do, but realistically, and I was subject to this years and years ago, and it was very, very bizarre to have somebody call me up and say, "How are you doing?" And what they did is they just checked public records. So your public records are, I mean, as they say, they're public. So I mean, if you own a house, you got a public record. If you have your phone number listed to a business, a business account. I mean,
our phone numbers get sold left and right.
Oh, absolutely, they do.
It's so hard to escape your number leaking into anything.
And so, I mean, the oftentimes the scammer will attempt to engage you in something that's very personal. But this is a very interesting angle. But they're using, and this is where I think family is very important to have, and don't feel ashamed about it. If you feel something seems a little odd, like how could you possibly have this amount of information? I mean, my mom does this with me. She bounces it off of me and she says, "This seems very strange." And she's not had anything like this. I mean, fortunately, I'm not the person who's been arrested for something. But, realistically, they do rely on that level of information. And the more specific they can make it, the more real it seems, right?
Well, they always make it any immediacy. The emergency to it makes you act without necessarily thinking.
Yes. So the key parts are always providing some level of legitimacy, right? I mean, so if they're contacting you, and it's oftentimes electronic, they'll try to use a legitimate account, right? I mean, it might be, you could have, for example, courts, whatever it would be, so where your local county is, but they'll change one thing on it. Like they'll put in at the front end of the URL that it's going to be
very subtle, but
like,
you can point
it's
it
like
out.
S county courts
Mhm.
dot whatever. Now they can't always get the back end, like they can't get the gov part of it, for a government agency or an org. Those require a lot more to actually have those two. But the .com or the .net or all the other ones that you have out there, they can grab. So you always have to be vigilant about that. The less sophisticated scammers, they don't really pay as much attention to that. But I've seen scams come through with USPS. Scams come through FedEx, or UPS. I mean,
Well, before we go off in tangent, let's actually finish the story.
Yes, I'm sorry. Go for it.
Quite a few stories we need to cover. So definitely the first time I've encountered this type of impersonation as a county court official, so they know a little bit more. My mom wasn't able to retrieve the money back from PayPal, unfortunately. I felt absolutely horrible that this happened to her, and if she would have told me what was happening at the time, I could have stopped.
Yeah, this is relying on family and friends. If you feel that there's a little bit something off, trust your instinct. And they do want the shock effect. So she unfortunately got pulled into it. So it's that combination of family, immediacy, the shock effect of what's going on. Getting somebody who's in a very low place at that particular time.
They try to isolate you, and obviously the shame of having fallen for something, whether it was a pretty well believable story or not. It unfortunately happens, and it's okay because we all learn from it, and then obviously the scammers learn in the process, so that's where they become a lot more sophisticated over time. I don't mind sharing my story if we want to share it now, or do we want to head over to the second story?
No, I think let's talk about your story because it does sort of fit into this a little bit, although it has a little more of a twist to it in the sense that it's not as specific, but this is about where you think it is, but it isn't. It's a numbers game.
Another big thing as well, which the scammer obviously does not know when they're catching you, is how vulnerable are you in this moment? So I'll tell you how vulnerable I was in my scamming moment. I was beyond sleep deprived with our son. He was, I want to say 4 months old, 3-4 months old. I was exhausted, there were so many things I couldn't pick up on at the time. So when I have this phone number calling me, I'm sitting at the coffee shop with my son. He's strapped onto me. He's sleeping. And they're impersonating my bank and saying, listen, we saw these 2 transactions that was trying to be made in Florida. Have you recently been to Florida? I was like, no, I have not. And they name the transactions and where they came from. It's like, no, this isn't me. So they go on to say, okay, well, we need to get your card details so that we can somehow block this. Now, obviously, in my very, very tired state, I'm not thinking twice about giving them my card details, which I should know better.
They're using the trust factor that they're the bank calling you. And mind you, for those of you out there, there are several national banks. They're not impersonating, your local savings and loan that just happens to be in your town. They're taking big banks, right? I mean, and so the chances are that you have an account with them is relatively high. I mean, you're going to find somebody who will. And that's unfortunately where this kind of came through.
And obviously, I think it's very normal for a lot of banks to have like a 2-step verification.
They do, yes.
And again, in my very deprived state, I go ahead and go through this 2-step verification with them where they're like, okay, now it's going to send you a code. And Savanah doesn't realize, ding, 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 that on the text that they send you with the 2-step verification, we will never ask you for this number, never hand out this number. Yeah. And at this point, they've probably put me on hold they've put me on hold 2 to 3 times. And as I'm sitting, this dragged out on for so long. I was in my car at that point, and I'm so tired. My son is sleeping, and I'm staring off in the distance. I'm on hold, and here I realize, dang, that annoying on hold song that this bank normally plays is not playing. And then it hits me. It's like, damn it! I cut the call, and I quickly go through all. And at this time, they had my login details as well for my account. So I am like ninja fast. I changed my username. I changed my password. I changed absolutely everything that I gave them, outside of the fact that unfortunately they have my card now, which they went on to deliver to get themselves a wonderful pizza delivered.
So they attempted to, and most scammers will do this. They'll attempt to do a small transaction that seems innocuous, right? I mean, like a pizza, as an example. And then if that goes through, then the big ones come in, right?
Yes. So this is now, and over the next few days, you could see that they tried adding several cards or accounts to my account to obviously transfer money and things like that. So unfortunately, they caught me in such a bad time. If this had happened another day where I was not in that state, my gosh, I would have picked up on it right away. Especially because our bank has a very particular way of introducing themselves to you, and you can tell with the music. I'm going to put you on hold for a moment, and this person was putting me on hold to nothing.
Well,
it was silence.
So they missed that part. Now, eventually, I think they're going to find a way to pick up.
But they would put me on hold for like 5-10 minutes at a time, which is
they would not do that normally because the bank would normally go back every.
They
couple
were like
minutes
just trying to toss between logging in, and they're trying to figure out, they're trying to get details from me, but they're trying to log in at the same time. All these things are happening simultaneously, and it's then I get this little bug bite of something doesn't feel right, and you know what, it wasn't.
Well, you also called me.
I called him. I called Omar, and like just as I was changing I had called you, and as I was on the phone with you, I was changing my details.
Mm-hmm.
Or I told you I just changed my details.
Yeah, you had.
And because it's like, obviously it's like I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they have like the card details, we have to block the card. So I did confide in Omar, and everything is fine. So this is why you need to find peace in the fact that your loved ones are going to be there for you no matter how silly of a mistake you make.
Yeah, it's being a little bit
alone.
A little bit removed from the situation always helps. I mean, even if you have a friend to call and say, "Does this sound right?" That's always the best thing. Keep in mind that for us, the process was made all the better because of our bank.
Mm-hmm.
However, we did have to close out accounts and get cards canceled and a bunch of other things.
It's damage control at that point.
It was damage control. So they basically didn't really get away with anything.
They didn't. They blocked all the transactions and whatnot, but we needed a new card, and it's a lot of headache.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Savanah was very fortunate in the sense that she clued in pretty early. But if you waited a day,
without a doubt,
that would have been a very different story.
They had my login details. They could have been transferring money left and right.
Absolutely, they would have been, and they would have done it subtly, and then there would have been this massive rush to get it pulled away.
So I'm very grateful. Our bank in particular has very good, just fraudulent control in place, where if you reach out to them, they're on it right away. And they literally hammered every single thing. This person didn't get away with a cent. Unfortunately, they just took a lot of my time and stressed me out a lot.
Yeah, and the flip side for us is those accounts needed to be now shifted and transferred for everything else we were doing with them. So there was a lot of that went through it to protect us in the end.
But definitely, it's never too late, especially if it's right after the scam has just happened and it's to do with your bank. Still put measures in place when you just realize, gosh, I've been scammed. Change your details anyway, and get help immediately. First reach out to your bank, do what you can, and then, any loved ones, get them involved as well. Because, I did feel stupid. I should have picked up on it right away when, they didn't even introduce themselves properly. But it happens, and it's okay.
So, and also to keep in mind for everybody, a lot of these places that do these scams are actually overseas. So not necessarily, they're not local. They're not like right down the street trying to do it.
This person was American.
No, they've gotten much better at...
Accents?
No, I don't think the accents, because I've had the accents part, and you're like saying, really? Come on. You could do better than this, right? But it's not as if they don't have scammers that have the language down, right? So, but it's not, they try not to have these occur in the United States, because then they're much easier to be found. So when you do make them international, They're very hard to find. And a lot of them tends to be, and believe it or not, places like the Philippines, India. China.
Yes.
So a lot of countries that are a little more loosely regulated. And you can sort of tell a little bit if they talk to you too much, but the gift for them to get the language right, that's a step up.
That can be their giveaway a lot. But another thing I want to add is if it's to do with particularly a phone number, oftentimes you can see if that phone number comes up as potential spam or unknown number, unknown caller.
Mm-hmm.
If it's your bank, their phones nowadays label it, this bank is calling you. It's very traceable. It's going to be no doubt about it.
So when you had the call, was it a number that you recognized?
It just came up as a normal US number.
But didn't say the bank.
The bank.
Okay.
No, it didn't. But let's dive right into the next story.
Before we do that.
Yes.
Now, our audience, we absolutely love you. We would love for you to subscribe to us. It helps our accounts and our channel. And we can provide more content and put likes. So we don't ever say no to those. We are very happy. We will share more about our chocolate things.
More than 70% of our audience is not subscribed.
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
So we kindly ask you if you enjoy our content and you'd like to see more, please hit the like button and subscribe.
We'd love to have you. We're a wonderful community.
Yes, and we want to grow, so we want you to be part of that growth.
All right, let's get into the next one.
All right,
so
what do we have?
Found lost pet scam.
Oh, another one of heartstrings.
Yeah, it's the emotions of it.
The emotions. And I'm curious to see how this one comes through because pets are not as available in public information.
So I recently lost my cat after she escaped from an open door. So, of course, I was devastated. I up and handed flyers. I posted to all my social media accounts.
Oh, here we go. Yes.
And all the lost and found pet Facebook groups. And of course, I searched the neighborhood with my boyfriend and a few friends. I received a call the next morning around 8:30 before the Humane Society was open from an anonymous number. No. Sorry, guys. And a CNN.
That is a tongue-tied number.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was a man claiming to be from the Humane Society. He said that he had my cat, but she was very injured and needed an emergency surgery. I asked him if I could go up there and see her or even pick her up, as I have a vet in the family who works at a 24/7 vet clinic.
Oh, that's nice to have.
And he told me yes, but I would have to pay through Zelle to get a receipt to present at the door in order to be let in. That sounds ridiculous. I started asking questions which aggravated him. And after several of my questions, he hung up and told me that I didn't seem to care about my cat. My boyfriend was right next to me and confirmed that it was a scam.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It's a very weird twist. The Humane Society would never do that. So let's start with that part. They're not going to ask for money, but they're also not going to be impatient with you either. And then, so this person is spending their time scanning through.
But they informed the entire world, so anyone knows that this person's cat.
Right. So and I think in this particular case, you can't really avoid that, right? I mean, if you're looking for your lost pet, that's what you're trying to do. The fact that somebody is actually scanning pet pages to try to get on somebody's heartstrings is, well, despicable, deplorable. There's a lot of things I would use to say that. I mean, not that any scam has any real great part to it, but this one's a really sad one.
And it goes back to, again, they're gonna pick on an emotion of shock or heartache, or in this case, you actually also get romance scams that we've been hearing a lot about.
Well, those are out there for sure in every which way. So it's sort of picking out things that are very important to people. They want love. They love their pets. They have finances and accounts. Oftentimes you have computers with softwares, and these are the things that they can get a good decent kind of hits on.
When you're in a desperate state, you'll pay anything. And the
scammer always has a sense of urgency. So if you take a moment and say, is this urgent? And normally, like the Humane Society, and mind you, I'm going to point to our mugs again. This is one of my favorite rescues. This is the GSP rescue. Love the work that they do. So this is for dogs. They never do that. I mean, they have on staff somebody that would take care of their pets. And if there is a financial piece to this, they usually look for a contribution, especially if they're the ones literally handling it.
Also, not unless you make the payment, you can't get your cat.
And they don't hold your pets hostage. Okay, that's one thing that none of them do. And I don't even care if you think rescues are not going to be this way, and then maybe the shelter will. The shelter will not do that either. Shelters.
I hope she found her cat.
I hope so too. I'm saddened by the fact that there's somebody out there sort of sitting around preying on people that have a lost pet.
Preying on the weak.
Preying on, I think they're preying on people who are in a desperate state.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm glad the boyfriend was there to say, look, there's something wrong with this.
Mm-hmm.
And they will use that last part. Well, I guess you don't care about your pet. Oh my gosh, do you think any humane society would say that?
Absolutely not.
No,
they are trained to stay very polite.
Well, not only that, but their goal has always been the welfare of the animal. So it's never going to be about guilting somebody,
yes.
in any particular way.
Okay, so it is very unfortunate that we are people that have scam stories, but we're going to end on a very, very high note of scamming the scammer.
Ah, yes.
And this is good. We need to get back at them.
A little bit of justice is really, really good. And there are some great, one of my favorites is that there's a YouTube channel out there of a hacker that hacks the hackers.
Oh, yeah, those are fun.
Those are really fun to watch because you're watching them get hacked in a way that they just assume they're the only ones doing it.
And it's so nice because you know what their intention is obviously to scam you, get money out of you. But they have absolutely no idea you're onto them, which is incredible.
If we have time, I've got one short story I'd like to share, which I will.
Okay. Well, let's finish with this one, and then we end
let's
on your story.
Let's see how this goes through.
How I scammed the scammer and got my $5K back.
Okay, unfortunately, it sounds like they lost their $5K to get it back.
At least they got it back.
But they got it back, so this is the positive part, yeah.
So, scam operation. This is not a post to brag or anything, and I've only ever really shared the story with close friends. But I thought I'd share it here in case it could ever help any future victims of pig butchering scams by giving them similar tactics they could use. So honestly, I'm not sure if I was just lucky or if because scammers were more trusting 5 years ago when this happened, I'm a lot more vigilant these days with these sorts of things. But then back then, I was pretty naive and trusting.
Unfortunately, I think we can all identify that at one time we were very much that way.
Very much.
Yeah. And then we get better as we
very normal. It's part
we
of
see
our
life.
journey.
And don't let this jade you in any way. There's a lot of really good things out there you can do, and not everything is a scam, but definitely with a discerning eye, figure out what you want to be.
So long story short, I basically got contacted by someone who acted like he wanted to become friends and teach me how to easily make money like he did. He didn't ask me to do anything straight away. We were chatting as friends for a week or so until he finally brought up how I should invest some money into crypto.
Oh,
and
yes.
he would help me grow.
Oh, my gosh. I've had so many crypto types that have come towards me. So.
Too many. I asked what the minimum, this is a trend, everyone, a minimum amount was, and he asked $5K. So he guided me in purchasing $5K worth of Bitcoin and then transferring it into this app. He sent me a link at the time. Basically, each day he'd tell me a few things to do on the app, and then I'd watch my balance grow. Nothing extreme, but like a few hundreds a day. One day, I tried to withdraw the money, and it failed. I contacted the WhatsApp customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, WhatsApp. That's a big platform that they use. And was told I didn't meet the minimum threshold and needed to invest a certain amount until I could withdraw my funds.
Which doesn't make any sense at all. And just for those people out there, WhatsApp is a fantastic application that is a secure, international secure communication. It's basically online. It's like Telegraph or Signal. There's a few of them out there that are like that.
I think a lot of people know about it.
Yeah, but the scammers choose to go to one of these platforms on purpose because of the encryption. And the whole idea is to pull you away from something that's traceable. So that's where WhatsApp plays a role in almost all the scams that I've seen that include crypto.
Yeah, so that's when I felt sick in my stomach, as I knew I had been scammed. So this person in the process has picked up on it now. I called in sick to work and contacted a crypto recovery company.
Oh, okay.
I probably also dodged a potential scam here due to the fact I didn't need them in the end. LOL. But I decided to take matters into my own hands and hatched up a plan. So this guy kept asking me to invest more money to make even more. So I played along, pretending I was so grateful for his guidance and that I was super keen.
Oh, the ego. So much
Yeah.
fun to play
I
with.
mentioned that I was going to be paid $20K, so
Oh my gosh.
$20,000 next week in bonus, and wanted to invest all of it. But
Oh.
I needed the confidence that I could withdraw money anytime if I needed it. I said that if he could demonstrate that I was able to withdraw the 5K, I would definitely invest the additional amount. So he got desperate enough that he allowed
he
it.
thought he already had him on the hook.
Yeah.
Oh, very
So
interesting.
surprisingly, the scammer agreed to do it, and he got customer service to make some adjustments in the back end.
Of course they did. Yes.
And then this time, when I withdrew the money, it got returned to my wallet. I then immediately blocked him and the fake customer service and tried to forget this day ever happened. Wondering if anyone else has ever had a similar idea or perhaps even the same success story. I had someone private message me that they tried this tactic and it actually worked for them. They got their money back. This is a great feeling and exactly why I wanted to share this story, even if it helps a single person. It's still a win.
So let's talk about this one for a little bit. Cryptocurrency. Not that I'm an expert. I'm not going to say that I am in any way, but cryptocurrency is all about the value of money through like essentially a block and chain process, which means it's supposed to be secure. But the whole idea behind it, and I will say this in kind of a general way, there is nothing that you get. There's not where you have this moment where it's something for nothing. And the lure of that is like built into our DNA. It's the idea that I'm going to be able to get this massive win at one time. And cryptocurrency is like the perfect environment to actually create that amazing kind of situation where people will be lured into it. The ones that I've been lured into, I mean, and I've never gone for it because I'm not a believer in crypto anyway to start with. To me, a currency needs to be based off of banking, not off of something that is determined the price at any particular time. It's this idea that it's volatile. So you're not going to circumvent the banking processes. As much as we may not like banks, the reality is we actually do need them for a lot of things that are happening. So I think what I'm trying to tell you is when you look at cryptocurrency, they always start off through something, right? They want to get you as a hook. And the way they've attempted to get me has been through LinkedIn. Well, what's really interesting about this story, though, is the cryptocurrency. You know, it's this big lure for like get rich quick, right? I mean, so and I think we all have that. So it's why the lottery does so well, as an example. But really, I think one of the things that I think people have to be aware of when you're in a cryptocurrency, you're dealing with something that's very different. It's like completely out of our norm. You know, you're dealing with things that don't require the same banking regulations, and I think that's the lure of it. You might make something really rich. I mean, from my personal experience, believe it or not, you know, you're getting approached constantly with somebody who does crypto. You know, for me, the strange part was when they're using LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, which is considered more or less a more professional social media component that you would end up using, oftentimes I will get a request from somebody to essentially to be connected to you. So that's, call it your friend group if you want to, but it's really not a friend group. It's a professional group. And oftentimes if I see somebody that I don't know, you know, I look at their profile and then I look at also who else in my group are they connected to. Unfortunately, when I see the crypto piece, it's almost like they're immediately, I can almost figure it out. So at the beginning, it was like, I was curious, and then it got to crypto. And the way they do it is they create a fake profile, or they modify a profile that they do, and they try to make it seem as legitimate as possible. But generally, they don't really do a great job. They tend to have a disconnect as to where they're from, their education, and everything else. But they give you the illusion that they're professional, right? And that they want to connect with you. But I can tell you, for those of you who use LinkedIn out there, you know, people within your network kind of do what you do. You're not going to find somebody in your network that does, you know, sommelier, you know, connecting to somebody who's, you know, doing engineering construction work. It just doesn't happen. So So
they try everyone possible,
they
even
do.
if they're very far out there.
And so the key part, like with all other scams, and this is a platform, is they attempt to connect with somebody. And the minute that they can find somebody in your network, then they want to go to the rest of your network. So I'm always aware of that. And unfortunately now at this point, since I've gotten so used to seeing it come in, it's like you just sort of ignore it. But then you also recognize that the person who got suckered in, unfortunately, was somebody that is in your professional network, and you feel like sorry for them.
But it's good to over time develop an eye for these things, and it does only come with experience and exposure to it. You're not going to know right away.
It does. So I guess there's two parts to what I'm saying is they'll come at you in many platforms. LinkedIn, they will not stay on LinkedIn. So the first thing they're going to want to do is get you off of LinkedIn and on WhatsApp. And that's typically the one, again, they could use the other ones, but they're trying to remove themselves from something that can document them. And so there's absolutely no reason for you not to have a professional conversation through LinkedIn. If you choose to have another conversation through email or your own phone.
You brought up a very good point. That's a big red flag, is if they start trying to move your conversation elsewhere.
Exactly.
It's like, why don't you just want to stay on this platform? And that's it.
So at the beginning, when I responded back to somebody, it was like, well, why would you want to connect with me? I mean, I'd be very direct with them because we're in completely different professions. And then they would say that, I do some real estate things, right? And it's like, okay, I get some of that because my background does include that as well. But the minute they start getting into the little bit of the language, so you'll see this immediately in your field.
There's a bit of a grammar intense issue that they have.
It's not just that, it's their ability to understand that industry. You know your industry. So whatever industry you're in, if you're an engineer or you're a photographer or you're in finance or whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. They try to mimic the industry you're in. And so when you ask them a question like, well, I'm very interested in let's say real estate, what do you think about this? And it's like, okay, I get the idea of sharing professional knowledge, but when you realize that the question they're asking is extremely vague, the response is extremely vague, and they don't know it, it's more of a red flag. So after a while, you kind of figure out this person is trying to connect with you for some other reason. And eventually it's crypto. And it's again back to the idea of investing in something that could give you a very quick return. And so that lure is so heavy, I think most people, it's an innate thing. It's no different than I want to be loved, or my pet's missing, or I want to protect my children or my parents or whatever it might be. So they prey on this. But your red flag is nobody is going to do a bunch of different things in different industries. Nobody's that versatile. They focus on an industry. You may find that they have an interest in something else, but they're not going to be doing real estate development and working in a sommelier and a cosmetics company at the same time. It's like that stuff doesn't make any sense.
If you find something that rubs you the wrong way, investigate, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to find someone out in a possible scam.
At the beginning, I was a little more diligent about doing this. And what I meant by diligent is like I'd give the person the benefit of the doubt. Then you cut them off and get rid of them. Now, if you don't respond to them, and this is another trick you can use on LinkedIn if you wanted to, is they'll send you a request, to connect, and just wait a week. LinkedIn will come back to you and say, hey, you haven't responded back. And then at that point, check their profile. If they haven't gotten you by the time they've gotten a week, they're usually gone. That profile is blanked out. It's disappeared already.
That's how quick they rotate.
That's how quick they rotate. So,
and I mean, they're dialing in on several possible victims with these things. They're not just waiting on you as a sitting duck. As soon as they get like a fish on the hook, they're reeling you in as fast as they can.
The thing about crypto, that's the angle that they use, is they tend to go after people that are professional because they're finding that they would have money to invest. So that becomes your victim profile that they're looking for.
A lot of the times as well is because you have to wait a certain period of time for anything to come of it. And this is why it's such a huge ideal for scammers out there, is because it's not like it's immediate and that's it. It's like, no, you have to invest. You have to wait for it to grow. What is it called? The oxytocin released in, oh my gosh, look at my investment getting somewhere, and you pull more into it. It can be addictive as well.
It can be addictive. Crypto has the makings of investing in Wall Street. And so that's the lure behind it. And most people who don't understand Wall Street and the finance component of how it works, and then crypto falls into this other more, call it mysterious way of making money. don't be lured into that. I mean, if you choose to do any of these investments, work with somebody who's reputable, your bank and investment company. There's a lot of them that will actually allow you a chance to really understand how this works. And they set up legitimate accounts.
And a nugget I want to give you guys, if it's too good to be true,
it probably is.
It probably is. So follow that gut feeling.
Right. So I'm going to end on a funny little note.
Okay.
Because I learned this from a comedian. I wish I could remember their name. So I had a scammer come after me through a phone call, and it was IRS.
Oh.
Okay. So for those of you out there, the Internal Revenue Service will never contact you by phone. If you ever are worried about that, the first thing you'll see on their website is we will never contact you by phone. And trust me, they know how to find you. So we don't have to worry about them finding you. They will send you something in writing. So for those of you who may have received an IRS kind of scam, that would be it, right? So this person was not good, and this is where they try to pretend to be
like a beginner scammer.
It was a beginner scammer,
Okay.
and it was a beginner foreign scammer who knew English but didn't know the diction of English.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is there's a nuance in the choice of the language you don't really pick up by learning it overseas. This is something you have to be immersed. And so it's the use of contractions or certain words or combinations of words.
So what happened?
So they would call me, or that person called me, and they left a message because I didn't take the call, but I chose for giggles and grins to go after them.
Of course. You wanted to have some fun.
I wanted to have some fun on my side. So instead what I did, so they called and basically said that you're about to be, I'm trying to think of the word that they use. They try to find legal words that don't really fit together. And it was going to be, you're about to be convicted.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, and you're not going to be convicted by the IRS. The IRS is, they may want taxes and the information, whatever it is, but you're not going to receive a conviction
but this
call.
Is them trying to make it this
They're trying
urgent.
Exactly. They're trying to make it extremely urgent and give you the sense of, oh my gosh, I better respond quickly. And so they leave you a number to call, right?
Okay.
Now, the number never really goes to the IRS. I think that's obvious for everybody in the scam. But it's going to go to somebody. But the way they worded the language, you understood English was not something they were comfortable with. So, but they did pretend that they were an IRS agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I came back with, and then I called them back. I said, I got a call from you. I wanted to find out more. And then he started rattling. You could see it's like a script, right? Rattling off, because they recognize the phone number that you're calling from. Obviously, they called it, and so they got you on a call list. And they basically said, you owe back taxes, and you're about ready to be convicted. It's like, okay, this is not true. So I just responded back and I said, oh my gosh, is that really true?
In that tone?
No, I was more serious. Like, oh, this is very important. I said, so you work for the IRS? He said, well, yes. And I said, do you mind providing me your ID number? Because every employee will have an ID number. So he comes up with this fake ID number. I know it's fake already. And I look at him and I said, okay, well, I appreciate you telling me that. Just out of curiosity, which office do you work out of? And then so you can see you're asking questions and not really knowing.
And they're trying to search for an answer.
Mm-hmm. And so they are, I think, partially prepared. This guy wasn't very prepared. So he came up with, I work in Los Angeles. And I said, oh, that's such a coincidence. I work in the Aliso Viejo office for the IRS. This is my ID number. We should probably get together. It was an immediate click. Mm-hmm. The guy was gone. The minute stressed him out, a little bit of legitimacy. But the reason I love doing this was, I have to admit, I had a moment where I was a little bit bored.
You're wasting his time so that in that time he's not messing with someone else.
He's not messing with somebody else. But the reason I got this, and if the audience realizes this, the funniest story came from a comedian that would spend his time scamming scammers that would come in and do this. And he basically used, it wasn't actually, I take it back. He wasn't really a scammer as much as it was like a telemarketer. But they do the same thing. They pretend they know you, And this person was, and I laugh at it even today. If I hear this thing, I need to find it. It's been years ago. But he called up this person and he was selling them, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was probably not that important, but he was trying to sell them something. And then he would call up and say, hey, Mike, this is Joe. We met a long time ago. Like you're supposed to know them. And they immediately do that with the intention that you're thinking, I must know this person because they know me, right?
To keep the conversation going.
To keep the conversation going and then the sale eventually. And what the comedian did is he pretended to be the police.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, oh, so you know Mike? And it's like, well, yeah, of course, we're friends. It's like, oh, hold on a second. And he does this muffled thing like he's talking to somebody else, right? And he says, hey, Marty over there, can you trace this call for me? It's like, and you're hearing this, and the guy's like on the other side.
Oh my
saying,
gosh, he's freaking.
He's beginning to freak out. It's like, well, what are you doing? It's like, no, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of this. So you know Mike, right? And he says, well, yeah, but he's not as certain this time when he answers the second time, which is the funny part about the story. He says, oh, hold on a second. No. Hey, Joe over there, would you mind getting the tape around the body? You know, it's like
no.
You know, it's like, no, don't step over there. There's too much blood. You know, it's so, and then this guy's like freaking out. I said, you know, I think I've got,
who the hell have I called?
I got the wrong number. I'm sorry. No, hold on. Now, where are you calling from? He says, I'm in Phoenix. Oh, perfect. Okay. Hey, Tom, call up my friend in Mariposa County. You know, the sheriff over there. You know, he's great. We've got somebody who knows Mike over here. You know, we need to find out more information about how he got murdered. Hey, thanks for being on the line with me. You know.
Oh, you can just imagine that cold face.
I mean, you could see it sort of dropped. I don't think the guy ever really figured out that it was kind of like he was being pranked. But so that was that moment that took me back, and I said, you know, I'm going to have a little fun with this guy.
Have fun with the scammer, because you know what? You're preventing them in that short amount of time to capture someone else.
And you know, when we talked about this YouTuber that goes and does this, that actually back hacks them in a way. You know, the hackers. The whole point behind that is exactly what you said. It's taking that time away from their ability to do something else.
There's too many of them out there to completely get rid of them.
It's
if you have an opportunity, take it.
I think, and so for me, it was enjoyable for that moment. I mean, I honestly, the LinkedIn stuff at the beginning, I actually went the extra effort to report them on LinkedIn so that they realize it's a scam profile. And I even went to the point of the impersonated company that they worked for. I let them know as well. Now I got to the point, it's like, okay, here it is again. Nothing. I don't even continue on. It's just a waste of time because it's so much. There's so many of them that come through. It's happening on a
daily basis now. So it's really, as a matter of fact, it's just talk amongst yourselves what scams are going around, because, I mean, they're changing constantly, and just be on top of it.
So for those of you out there that don't have a professional organization you're part of, because they will have a lot of things about, you know, phishing and internet security and things like that. But take the time. I mean, there's a lot of really good YouTubers out there that have good profiles. I mean, that will tell you a bit more about how scams work. And you always have to look for the key things. They're going to make it personal. They're going to make it urgent. And they're going to put you in a position where you have to make a decision now and provide private information. So anything that leads you to that is huge.
If you're giving out anything, whether it's money, information, you should start to think, because why would a random number contact you with a certain situation, again, immediacy, and want something from you?
And the key thing that Savanah mentioned before, so I just want to reiterate it because it's so important, is if your bank is calling you, your bank's ID number is going to be on your phone these days. It's not like it's a random number. If you're going to have somebody else call you, whether it's not a bank, I mean, even like health services, they will tell you medical professional. You know, if the police is calling you, you might say anonymous, but, you know, there's certain points that you will find that we do get a lot better with identification, but it's a cat and mouse game.
And if you do doubt it, say, okay, I'm going to drop the call and call the number again.
And believe it or not, when I had a call from our bank asking me about a fraudulent charge, I said, hey, thank you very much. I'm going to call you back.
Yes.
And they said, no problem. You know, and then I called them back and I got to a different customer service representative, but it was the same thing. It was me back checking. So it's
important.
And it's very important. If you find yourself in that position, there's never a panic. You know, just take a moment and say, no problem. I'll call back.
Nothing is going to happen in a matter of seconds to minutes to hours from you. If you need to quickly check something, check it. Because you're probably catching on to something.
Yeah, and again, one of the things that we've always tell you, we definitely believe in trusting your intuition. Trust your intuition. We all have it. You know, I always give compliments particularly to women, because women have a very deep sense of intuition. Men have more of a gut instinct. But men tend to brave through and rationalize stuff a bit more, and they don't feel like they could be a victim. They can be a victim just as easily. However, we all have this. We have gut instincts and we have intuition. Use it, believe it, trust it. Even if you see something that's in an email, it's the whole idea is don't click on it. Don't look at that. My mom almost got scammed through a Microsoft thing. And it's like, okay, how many people don't have Microsoft on their computers? In some form, there's not that many of them. So you have a good chance of getting a victim. And I asked my mom the first thing, and she was really good. She sent it to me, so she's very nice about doing that. I looked at it, I said, it didn't even take me more than 2 seconds to say it's a scam. And the reason for it, they didn't even have a Microsoft address. I mean, they could have done that at least mimicked it, right? Make it a little bit better.
Stay safe out there, everyone. These things are going round. Let's conquer together, and we can have fun with this as well.
So we do have other episodes. We want to make sure that we put a little plug out there. If you have an interest in some
paranormal
of the
and the unusual,
whether you want to talk about how parenting and family, there are lots of things that we offer, and we will definitely would love to get your input and you to participate.
We are passionate in many different fields, so we do like welcoming everyone of different types and genres. So check out our channel.
I know this is kind of out of the realm, but I think we should do another one of these. But this time, let's make it about travel scams.
Okay.
All right. So we're making kind of an online commitment to you guys, and this is going to be a really great episode for those of you who love to travel. We want to make sure you stay safe.
Well, it's great to be informed either way if you're not traveling in general.
And it's using your little spidey senses. They work really well. So with that,
until we see you again at the Munch Corner podcast.
We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.